while treating every client with the dignity and respect they deserve, while fighting strongly and fiercely for justice and their legal rights. The Hinkson firm can be reached at 470-499
Are we going up?
4704.
Well, greetings, greetings. How is each and every one doing? Hoping that you all are fantabulously fabuloso. Welcome to Reasoning Thursdays. Well, Mama Ass is having a serious situation going on over there. Power outage and all of these things. Let me tell you something. That's one place I don't want to live in is Michigan. Because they're always having something going on over that neck of the woods right there. Big up yourself to each and every one that has a tune to Reasoning Thursdays. Joining me today is the one and only Queen right here. And we are on YouTube and we are on Facebook today. We're just not, I'm not showing my face. I'm in the studio by myself tonight and I'm not showing my face today. So, um, yeah, you're just gonna hear my
With that.
voice as those who hear my voice on the radio hears my voice. So Queen, big up yourself. How you doing, my sister?
Big up, lady. There's so much going on out there that, with this gun violence that I just had to come on and put in a few words and see if maybe when folks hear of this, they can call their Congress people or whoever you need to call to make changes because it all starts with the citizens of this country. And, if we don't get involved, then there are more lives, children lives that will be taken away from us.
Yes, yes.
And I have a couple of experts that was talking. As a matter of fact, the president will be on in about another 15 minutes or so. He's having he's addressing the gun violence situation here in America.
When you I wonder I would like to hear his address because is there anything that he can really do? I know the president is not much that he can do without the Congress. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like wondering, what is it that he really, really can do,
Well,
can
he can
say?
put pressure on Congress. He can put pressure on Congress, and I think that's what he's trying to do because I think he's really feeling it. I'm not sure if it's because his wife was a teacher or he's just having empathy for these folks. But I saw him when he visited the family down there in Texas, and I saw tears coming out of his eyes, and he spent, from what I've read and listened to, he had spent the whole day, meeting with family members. He even went to the mass, and
What?
from what they're saying, he's really, really, really touched him.
Yeah, that's all of the politicians cry.
You know it.
All of the politicians cry. I'm so tired of the crying and the I'm sorry's and all of these
Mhm.
things. I'm just hoping that something would be done. And in order for
Yeah,
something to really be done, it has to go through Congress. And if Congress is not
well,
going to pass it, which the reluctancy of the Republican Party, with their big
yeah.
reluctance, I don't think that's something that can be passed or that anything can be done about it until they all come on one accord. And some of these
Okay.
Republicans seems as if they would like to um, change their stance on certain things, but still is the majority and it's not swaying the majority right now to make any changes in regards to the guns bill. Go ahead.
Well, you see what happened, D. You have to understand, lady. The NRA, they are nonverbal, okay? And they are the ones who are really in charge. It's 5 million of them, okay? They're 5 million deep, okay?
Hmm.
And America, it's a cultural thing with America where they feel that if they're not harmed, they can't protect their family or their country.
But
So it is beyond even Congress. It is the citizens' duty and job to call these folks that is representing their district. You know what I mean?
yeah, but if there's eighty
And
percent, there's 80%
uh,
of Americans that
mhm.
is polls have been taken, it has been documented. 80% of American wants change. But yet we
88%, the background check, yeah.
right, so
Hmm.
yet we still don't have we it still depends on those particular politicians,
Hmm.
and if they already see
Yeah.
the individuals in their constituencies that are looking that are demanding and wanting change, and still they're not budging, sometimes you have to take a file, look into it, and see if it's money talk and BS walk.
Well, that's what it is. That's what it is, lady. You see, John Hassoff, remember John Hassoff, when that was his campaign rhetoric to stop gun violence and all that. And he did do a proposal pertaining to that, but it was vetoed and again because he did not get the support from his constituency as he needed, to make these changes. Um, the thing is that, lady, you got to understand that America is built up. It's comprised of guns from in the Western time. Okay,
Hmm.
it's gun. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And what happened is that people are not talking. They're not speaking up, and that's why this is happening. Mental illness is also a big factor
Yeah.
in gun violence. Okay, a lot of these folks. Remember, these folks are between the age of 18 through 45 because this gentleman, he shot up these people because he had a surgery. The doctor did a surgery on him 2 weeks ago for pain, his back pain, for back pain, right? And he went there to kill the doctor. It so happened he killed two of the doctors, he killed the receptionist, he killed one of the patients,
Yeah.
husband. So it's mental illness, and we have to understand that there are people out there that have mental illness. So if you put these guns out there where they have easy access to, then you're going to have problems, and this is going to continue. So we do need laws. We need laws um, to control the distribution of guns to mental people who have some type of mental traits, and all of these things need to be done.
Yeah, that's something
And
that
again, I
mhm.
still think it's the public's job and duty to pressure
It's most
their
definitely
congressmen.
it's most definitely the public's job and duty
Yes.
um to call in and to voice their opinions on things. Not necessarily that anything is still going to be done until these people
Mhm.
persons that are in the position to make the
Yeah.
changes once again with
And
the
this,
mental status of individuals. We
yeah,
talked about that a couple of weeks ago, where I
right.
was showing examples of even to get a firearm permit here in Georgia. You just have to be able to go into the courthouse and you do whatever necessary paperwork and hold your hand up, swear, whatever, and then pay your money and keep on moving. That law
Mm-hmm.
has to be changed because there right now it seems that too many persons with what you call it, mental situation, mental
You,
illness,
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
is are the ones that are causing, that are going out and doing these things, maybe whether they feel that is temporary insanity or whatever
Yeah.
have you. The discussion that is always held after the fact is that they all
Yeah.
had some type of mental issue, so therefore mental illness, so therefore they're in the laws. They ought to be laws
Mm-hmm.
that are made for in order to get these permits, in order to access guns, that some type of mental test,
Mm-hmm.
should be
Yes.
administered. They need to go
Yes.
to a special clinic, a doctor or someone, and get a mental evaluation, put them through certain
Yes.
things before we're so freely handing out these guns.
And they need that national gun database. They need
Yeah.
that. That's very important too.
And
Do you
be,
see what I'm saying?
and really, they, because in some senses what they're saying is the truth, but yet
Yeah.
it's the cause of it. Like for
Yeah.
instance, when they're saying that the gun is not the issue, it's the person behind the gun. So if you know that the gun,
Mhm.
you feel that the gun is not the issues, then you need to make laws for the
Right.
persons whom are going to obtain these weapons and use these weapons. You understand? Something needs to be
Yeah.
done about the laws on how
Yeah.
persons are able to acquire these guns and these guns licensing and so on. Extensive.
Yes. And they in Philadelphia, they're saying that since they have that law put into place, 20% of gun violence, gun violence have decreased 20%. So, but like I said, Sandy Hook in 2012, 26 people died, and they talked about it, and they didn't do anything after that. Again, 10 years after Sandy Hook, 51 shootings happened in the school system, and again, it is not addressed. And like I said before, it all is put on the shoulder of the people. We have to speak up, because if we don't, then nothing will be done. It will be pushed under the rug, like Sandy Hook and all the other shootings of that have happened.
We
You know, it's really sad,
yeah,
but you make 5 million people
well,
control all of this because of money and power.
we have to speak up, but not just speaking up. We have to put our bodies where our mouth is.
Uh-huh.
They say you put your money where your mouth is. We
Where
have
your
to
mouth
start
is.
using our bodies and going to these polls and voting
Yeah,
these people out of office. So we need to stop
true.
just talking about doing things, but we need to actively start doing things. And the way we can make changes and make our demands heard and understood that we're serious with demands are going to these polls and putting and selecting people who
People.
mindset is the same as ours, and are going to do what the citizens of America is asking them to do. So if we keep on putting in these same politicians over and over and every year, and they sitting up in
Mhm.
there for 8 and 30 years and 20 years, nothing is going to
Yes.
change. So we have to, the people, the citizens of America, have to be the ones to not just put to say it and to keep talking, but to put action
Mhm.
to what they're
But
saying as
and
well.
and all the media, they need to pressure. They need to start publicizing this. Remember, election is in November.
Yeah.
And if they start to publicize this, then people will have it in their mind, to do something about it. But if you're gonna just talk about it for a week or two, they have a thing I was listening to where they said the first 40 days, and after that it's forgotten. That is crazy. And like I said, the news media, they have, just like how you go on Facebook and you see all these things they're posting. Keep posting. Speak to your congressman. Call your congressman. Call your state representative. Call these people and pressure them. We have to pressure them, because we are, in the long run, we are the ones that really make the difference. It doesn't matter how many people in NRA or how many people running the country. People talk. People talk. And if you stand up for certain things, it can be changed. You know, violence is everywhere. We know it's everywhere. But from what I'm listening to for the past couple of days, America has the most violence and the most access to guns than any other country in the world. You know, so therefore there is something happening there. I think I was listening earlier today where they were talking about 8 million, 80 million guns or something like that is in circulation, or 300,000 guns. It's something like that they were saying. 300 million, I'm sorry, not thousand. 300 million guns in circulation. I
Yeah.
mean, come on now. Why do we need that much guns? You know? And again, lady, I'm still on it. People, we are the ones who have to stop this. We have to speak up. We have to make it our priority. These are our children that are dying. You know, they're dying, and not just schools, but babies. I hear babies shooting each other. I hear, it's ridiculous.
Do you
It's
know,
ridiculous.
I was watching something. Oh my jeez. I forget what I was watching briefly yesterday. I was on vacation. I came back yesterday. But while I was headed back, there was something that popped up on my phone, and I think it had said Canada. I think it was Canada, or
Mhm.
one of the countries or has started a program where they're eliminating guns, banning them, and for
Yes,
persons whom does have these guns, um, certain they were, like even the clips, instead of having 9 and 15 shots and stuff, they were saying they are not to have more than like 5 or 4 shots. We're going to continue it next week, but so I will have a little bit more statistics, and I would find, now that you mentioned that, I would find the article as to
hmm
that came up on my phone yesterday. But I was impressed, and says, okay, let's see how they're going to work that. I think it was in Canada though, that they're getting rid of guns, and
yeah.
anyone whom is caught with these guns, we're going to be facing serious
I think I heard of that, but
issues.
I'm not sure where it was. Well, I heard something like that on the
Yeah, it
news.
came
Yeah.
up. It came up very briefly on my thing, but I didn't have enough time to really read it. I was doing something else and it just popped up, but I glanced over that, and I was like,
Mm.
okay, well, if Canada can do it, then America must can do it. But then
Can do it
again,
up.
there's so
Yeah.
many other things as free health care, and
Mhm.
lots of other things that Canada and other countries are doing for their citizens that we here in America is not doing. And Canada is known that, if it is Canada, that their citizens are more important than the NRA or anyone else whom is
Mhm.
in this gun thing, wanting these weapons, these weapons of these weapons of destruction, because that's what I would call an AR-15 and things like, those high shooting rifles. Those are um war machines. Those are not anything that everyday people should be carrying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a serious thing. And once again, with the mental health should be a part of the evaluations when persons
Yeah.
are when persons are applying for
Yeah.
gun permits, for gun
Mhm.
for a gun period, because now in Georgia you can have a gun and you don't need a
Mhm.
license. You can even carry it concealed and unsealed, and you don't need a license. So,
Yeah.
if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but if it is from it, if that's the exact law of it, what does that open up? Does that open up more murders? Does that open up more doors of ways for people
Mhm.
to go around and murder persons left and right? It's just crazy. It is madness of what is going on.
Well, Cory Booker, he's a congressman. He said that Congress seem unlikely to change this
Well, I'm hoping
for
so.
this.
I'm hoping
That's what
so.
he's saying.
I'm hoping so, especially
And
with this next shooting
mhm.
again, and with
Yes,
another
yeah,
assault rifle. So I'm
yeah.
hoping
And you know,
that,
the lobbyists there, in the Republican Party,
yeah,
it's so much,
it's too
it's so much,
much.
my sister. But I really think it's up to the citizens, and I think they're the only one that can change this, and they need to, and the only way they're gonna do it is by putting pressure on their representatives. If you make 100 calls for the day, call them 100 times,
Well, that's for
or
that.
her.
Yeah, that's for persons whom whom have the time. But if some of you people out there just have even 5 minutes, and you take the 5 minutes, sometimes the darn whole time takes up your whole lunch break, and
Yes.
it becomes so
Mhm.
discouraging that you don't want to
Mhm.
stay on hold, because that has happened to me. I
Right.
have a hold one time for almost like an hour. I'm like, no, this is really ridiculous. And everything they're
Mhm.
blaming it on the big C. The big C is why things are still in their arrears and not being, you know, answered on time and in a timely manner and things like that. But I mean, it's ridiculous for a person to have to sit and hold for an hour, half an hour to make a complaint. That in itself deters the one from even calling in the second time, because they've already held the first time for so long and didn't even get anywhere. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
we ask all of persons, don't get discouraged. Just
Yeah.
continue
I
to
see
call
some
in.
people putting it on Facebook. I see a couple of people, and maybe even those media outlets. We can do that. Write a little blog. On the Facebook or the chat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Write a little blog. Even if most folks when they get up in the morning, they lay there for a little bit. And I see a lot of blogs in the morning, folks get up and start writing. So even if we could do it that way, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, let's make some effort. Let's not say it's not possible. Let's
Right.
try, and maybe, who knows, the results might be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it needs to be publicized, because a lot of folks didn't even know that there was a shooting down there in Texas. I called folks and they were saying, "What shooting?" I said, "Yeah,
Because
shooting."
because
I
because
mean,
Queen,
even this, yeah,
you have persons that don't watch the news. You have a
yeah,
lot of people
true,
that has somewhat disconnected themselves from news. And
true,
I had gotten there to a point, and I used to say to myself, how am I going to reason on situations when
yeah,
I'm not watching the news? But the news had
yeah,
became so depressing. The news had became so depressing that every time you turned it on, it was just death. That
yeah.
you get tired of just hearing the same thing over and over and over, and nothing is being
Mhm,
done about it. So it's not surprising to me that persons whom don't watch television and whom do not listen to news, they just basically um they just basically listen to music when they're listening to radio or anything such as, so yeah. So I mean, I can definitely relate to people not knowing about it. And really, on my travels coming up, I didn't even know about it until my daughter texted me, and she called and she says, "Mom, you the another person shot up a clinic or something." And I was like, "Oh
hospital,
my
yeah.
God." And then I saw a text from yourself came in
Mhm,
and says, you were just putting that out there. But yeah, a lot of persons
mhm,
don't get to watch the news and is not following up
mhm.
on what is going on. Carla, how you doing, Andrew? Apostle Andrew. I'm sorry, I keep saying Prophet Andrew, how are you doing?
I am great, wonderful.
That's great. That's great. Well, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We were reasoning a little bit on the gun control on and the shooting that just happened again in Tulsa, and what the people of I think the world, because it's not, this gun violence thing is not just prevalent right here in America. It's all over the world,
Mhm.
even such as in Jamaica, because even in
Yes.
Jamaica is getting even. I think I want to know what Jamaica in itself is going to do with what's going on. You have counselor caretakers that are being murdered. You have police officers that are being murdered, politicians. I mean, what is going on in the country of Jamaica as well with these gun violence and these just brazen, very brazen killings that continue to happen there, Andrew?
Can I be honest with you?
Yes, definitely. That's
Mhm.
what we're all about.
And I'm not going to drink any water.
Yeah.
I mind my business
Not tonight.
because the truth of the matter is, when you see things like this happening, you know that there's politics involved, and you know that there's corruption
Mhm.
involved also. And I'm not saying that's a justification of what is happening, but when you get into corruption, the result of corruption is what's happening.
Yeah.
And
It's
so the police is also saying that the two murders are not linked,
we know better.
but they are linked.
We know better. Yeah.
You cannot say that you one person dead today and a very, very close right hand
Mhm.
is
I
murdered.
did both in
Across.
the same party.
Mhm.
That doesn't add up at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's all corruption.
Definitely.
All corruption.
I was listening
Because
to one of those bloggers, and he was saying they being paid back. It's payback for all the corruption and all the misdeeds that they did. The two that died,
yep.
that was in I was listening to that, and one of the blocker, like I said, he was saying that it's because of the corruption that they did, and it's now payback time. So that's why both of them end up dying, losing their lives. Because the
What
last
was you
one,
saying?
he was at a domino game, and he was the only one that they shot and killed.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You,
you
you
what?
know, people. We have gunmen and we have heartless gunmen and we have gunmen that only kill for a purpose and a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people are not gonna get up and just kill people like that.
Hmm.
Be a motive behind it, and there has to be a reason.
Yeah. But they're definitely playing it down.
There,
Go ahead, Andrew.
and what's
But
happening when
hmm
they make their and they don't fulfill their
hmm
deals and they don't carry out what they should have carried out after winning an election and
hmm
still want to do their work and not is forthcoming, then these are the things that happen. It's normal. It's natural.
It's such a funny thing that
It's
is so
11
normal and natural in Jamaica. That
waffle
yeah.
and you go mix now when when you need to do the same, you do that.
mhm,
And what they do, and then they forget to pay their dues,
yeah.
and they don't
hmm
want to pay. Sometimes they come off as being bad people, and then the reality is the bad people. I'm sure them who really bad.
I
You go.
was I was seeing somewhere in one of the articles that they were trying to figure out if this Parkins he's on the PNP side. He's a counselor on the PNP side. That himself and Counselor Hines were going back and forth with one another, and things that Hines must have left on a video. They were saying is that were signs that he was going to be murdered, and
Yeah.
if the opposite instead of it, if the opposite parties are the ones whom are doing this against one another. It's so crazy. It's crazy that
Mm.
I don't even know what's going to become of Jamaica at this point, because when now we're targeting politicians. I mean, they're just
Mhm.
dropping, I think it's like three
Uh,
or four of them in a space of about 3 weeks or so that have met their demise.
well, the
But
truth of the matter,
but then
One moment,
lady,
Queen.
lady
One
and
one moment,
Andrew.
Queenie. Queen. Go ahead,
Mhm.
Andrew. Andrew was saying something just now. Go ahead.
what we're doing with our politicians is what the politicians are doing with themselves. My mother used to say, "You make your bed, you lie in
Yeah,
it."
yeah.
You see,
Mhm.
you go in there not legally, and you're going there illegally. What do you think is going to happen? And if you're going there with your motives not in the right place, what's going to happen? You see, what they have done in the dark is now coming to light.
Yes, definitely.
And people need to recognize it's not no other party. I do not know them same own party. I do them things
Mhm.
because they're mixed up, they're corrupt, and them hard black. And these are the people that we're voting for and putting into position to stand over us. And we need to get it together as the church.
Yeah,
The
heading
church
back
needs
to the
to
church. Where is the church in
by
all
the
of
church
this?
silent in all of this. I don't hear the church coming out and the church not saying nothing and the church not doing nothing.
I think after
Right.
that, fiasco with the pastor there, that I mean the church has just they've been mute before, but they are like totally like in non-existence now.
Yeah, but one church and one pastor can cause the whole body to shut up.
To shut up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
That's
never
ridiculous.
used to. They didn't really say much, before. That's why I said they was kind of mute. But now they're deaf, dumb, blind, and mute to what is going on right in front of them. How are they? I feel.
Because we're busy with each other rather than busy fighting with the enemy.
Mhm.
But not just the church. There is something going on out there. There is something going on. Look at that woman that killed her son, the 6-year-old little boy. I mean, she beat him to death. Okay,
Are,
messed up, gashing his head, then put him in the bush and say somebody kill him.
are
I
we
mean,
are we
there
going
is so
back?
much killing going on.
Donna Moody, are we, if you're listening, are we going back to aliens, to our original conversation, back with the aliens and taking over persons' bodies and doing all
Something
of
going
these
on.
madness, and Prophet, you had a question to answer from me the other day. You had a question to answer from me the other day. I don't know if I'm ready to put you on the spot. But you had a question to answer from me. But are we
Not here.
back into this realm again of the evilness? Is it really something that is leashed on the earth? Some evilness that is leashed on the earth that is causing all of this madness? Because I mean, or is the
Yes,
Bible really being fulfilled?
fulfill.
It's the
Yes.
Bible.
What do you say, Queen? And then we'll ask Prophet the same question.
Of course, we know definitely Revelation is being fulfilled. There are signs and wonders. There's so many signs that if you really read Revelation and look at what is happening, it is depicting what is in Revelation. But again, it's always like that. Instead of people trying not to do the negative, they end up and do the positive, they end up doing the negative. You know what I mean? Remember, it seemed like people love evil. They love to hear bad things. You know, they get all excited. If you tell them something good, they don't get as excited as they do when they hear something bad happen. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So Revelation is being fulfilled, in my opinion, because of my readings and my teachings and what I see, because my eyes are wide open. My eyes are not closed like everybody else. My eyes are wide open, and I know it and I see it, and I ask God to show me, give me guidance so that I can see for myself and not what someone else tells me. And that's what people need to do. They need to start following their heart. We have a spirit. God gave us the spirit of discernment. He gave us the spirit to know right from wrong. So when something is wrong, you feel funny about it when you do something wrong. When you do something good, you feel good and happy about it. So it's not that people don't know these things, but they just, the devil is in them. You know what
Okay,
I mean? And yeah,
Donna Moody says, good evening. Good evening, Donna. Numbers is seven zero
good
six
evening.
nine five five 2001 706 955 2001. Andrew, the same question to yourself. Is Revelations being fulfilled? Is there an evil spirit or something that is our alien, or what is it that's looming on the earth here that is causing all of this chaos that's going on the earth?
It's all demonic. It is all demonic. And the thing is, if we don't read the Bible and understand the Bible, we would not understand the signs and the times that we are in. And we are in a very critical time. And yes, the Bible is being fulfilled. Disaster is happening everywhere.
Yes.
Children having children,
Oh.
and it goes on and it goes on. And we need to take a stock of what's really happening
Mm-hmm.
within. And so the Bible, so when you see these signs, is look up time. We need to be looking up rather than paying attention too much to the negativity that's happening, rather than seeing the positive in all. And it's
Mm-hmm.
time for us to it's time for us to repent as a nation and turn to the Lord. You see, but we're consumed with grief. We're consumed with bitterness. We're consumed with hatred in our hearts for one another. When it's not about the skin, it's about the nation that you're from or the tribe that you're from. And there are all sort of things that the enemy has bring about to detour us and for us not to be focused on what is right.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and it's a time when people seeing the negativity as right and the positive as wrong.
Yes. Yes.
So some people don't even see what they're doing is wrong. They can't even comprehend it. It hasn't been registered yet. Because I'm sure if you ask some of those people that are doing this mass killing, they will probably look at you as if you're senile or something. Because to them it comes naturally.
So it's
It
all,
comes naturally.
Donna Moody said, it's the collapsation of civilization. Donna, elaborate. So, Donna, we're asking for you to elaborate on your statement of it's the collapsation of civilization. Elaborate on that, because I definitely don't want to put any words in your mouth. Or call in at 706-955-2001 and let us know your thought. Yeah. So you feel it's totally demonic and it is revelation. So there's no way of going back. So what is happening? Are we saying what is happening is going to happen and there's no turning back? Or is there a way to turn back on focusing on the positive? Is there such a way to turn back as to um, focusing on the positive, or is the Bible just has to completely be fulfilled?
Well, the issue
Mhm.
is
Andrew, a
Bible
prophet.
said we repent
Mhm.
and turn from our wicked ways.
Mhm.
And if as a nation, then the Bible said we will hear from heaven and he will heal the land. The
Mhm.
land needs to be, the land is in a messed up state.
Okay. So how do
Land
I
is,
go ahead, and then I'm gonna ask the question. Go ahead.
and it's drowned because so much things that's done on the land. Too much bloodshed.
So I guess
Too much
I
innocent.
guess one of the first steps is to get rid of these is to form some type of gun control so the massacres can stop.
Mhm.
Get rid of the guns. When they had just knives in those days, you would hear once in a while someone get cut, but it wasn't a regular thing. Get rid of the guns. Get rid of the guns. Look what is happening
Yeah, but listen, let
in
me I don't mean to interrupt you, but we definitely know let's get rid of the guns. But there was a
yeah.
statement made by one of the Republicans. I think it was, oh Jesus, I don't have my notes in front of me because I wrote down some notes in regards to it while I was on vacay. But one of the politicians were saying that the the school, the guy that did the shooting in the Texas school, um, that he could have killed 21 people with even a bat. So
Mhm.
that's his comeback from getting rid of the AR-15. So he's saying, in other words, he is saying there is other
That-
weaponries that can be used to commit the same crime. I don't think in the same
Oh, I bet you he's
rapidness.
part of the NRA.
All right, I don't think you know, with what he's saying, but let's take that and let's run with that one, and let's say with the guns and the gun control, and we get all of that in order and it's taken up, and there's other weapons now, knives and bats um, ice picks and all of these other um, instruments that can be used to cause bodily harm to persons. Then okay, if we're not focusing total on the weapons, it brings us right back to the mental capacity, mental illness of a person. So is that should be part of a physical now, a person's mental um, capacity? Should we put that into part of a person's physical, since most of the violence is being said done by a person with mental illness? Because if they can't get the
But
guns
it's
and they can't get the guns, but they still can get other weapons to cause the same bodily
Yeah, but
harm.
lady, I was born in the early 60s. Listen here, sis.
I'm
I was
just throwing
born
it
in the
out. I'm
early
just throwing it out
50s.
there. Yeah.
I was born in the early 50s, okay?
Hmm.
And I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, okay? And I remember growing up, I remember this guy named Timmy used to live around our street in Jamaica. And they used to have a lot of stuff going on, but you know what they were fighting with? Sticks and knives, okay? And the
Hmm.
knife was a rarity. You didn't hear about knife play all the time. It was mostly sticks they're fighting. Sticks, not really. You have to really hit that person hard, and you can't get 50 odd people in one hit. I mean, come on now, logic, you
But
know?
Queen, back then, when we're talking about back then, we're talking about where the mental capacity was just at sticks and stones. But now you have persons whom are getting weapons of destructions into their hands, and they're liking the feel of it and the power that it possesses. So Before I continue, Donna says that it's history repeating itself in the new millennium, like the Bronze Age collapsation and Iron Age collapsation. Okay, did you this that's what Donna Moody says is history repeating itself in the new millennium. I'm gonna read it again. Like the Bronze Age collapsation and the Iron Age collapsations. Okay, so history repeating itself. So if we go into history repeating itself, then I guess we're definitely looking at the end of the world as they see it. We
There's
have we
so
have
much
we
on the
have we have
inside.
Queen
And
quiet and we have Prophet quiet. And
just go ahead. There's
Donna
so
says
much on the
they're
inside.
trying to eliminate human social. Okay, they're trying to
Yeah.
eliminate human social.
You know, uh, listening, because you know what?
Go ahead, Prophet.
Repeating itself.
Say
We
that
have never
again.
been this way before. I'm not going to agree on history repeating itself because we have never been this way before.
Ah,
Well,
what I'm talking about.
okay. When you say we haven't been this way before, I just got another text.
We haven't been this way. I've been this way before.
We didn't have those type of weapons to use before, but
Yeah.
why did
In
they
the,
say God flooded the earth? Wasn't because of the same madness and the bloodshed and the evilness and the all of the wrongdoings that were done upon the earth?
that's a different situation,
Okay, elaborate.
but it still doesn't apply to me and you. We were never there then. We are here now, so we can talk about now, the present. It don't even make sense going into the past because we cannot change the past, so we can do nothing about the past. And the Bible says, "Let the past stay in the past."
In the past.
So it makes sense going back into the past. That cannot help either you or me. We need to talk about the future that's ahead of us. Yesterday is dead and it's gone, and it's
But
not
we
come
can
back.
use the
But you
past as
learn.
examples,
I was just going to say that. I was going to
we
say,
can
but you
yeah
learn from a lot of your past
from the
mistakes
past.
so that you don't make those same mistake in the future. Donna says during the Iron Age, that's when the weapons were created. That's when it was created, and people learned even more power than what they had before. So when you say
Hmm.
don't, the Bible says don't look into the past. Let me ask, and I may, I don't know if I want to ask, but I'm going to throw it out there because it's reasoning Thursdays, and we're reasoning. We're trying to gain knowledge from each other. So Donna Moody says it's human evolution. It is the past in the present. So that's exactly what we were saying as well, Donna. But what is written in the Bible is everything that is written in there solid on a reasoning as discussion, not on a
The words are solid. The word. That's what we're looking at. The word.
mhm,
The
but
words in the Bible are solid.
and every is
They're solid because what it's doing, it is showing us our past and showing us how to deal with our future. But a lot of
ah
people, they're not focusing on the future that is in the Bible. They're focusing on the past. And that's why we can even say, oh, this happened in BCC or what have you, BC or what have you. But if we look at the future, for example, the New Testament, a lot of people don't like to read the New Testament. They more um, go towards the Old Testament instead of the New Testament. But the Bible on a whole, you have to read from the Old to the New, and you have to when you're doing or looking to see God, because we do believe, most people do believe in a God, no matter what you call him, okay? But you do believe that there's a four-sided man that governs this universe. And if we are gonna look at at it, and it was presented to us through the Bible, the words, not the Bible because that's a book, but the words that are in the Bible. Then we should follow the old as well as the new. So we're going to look at the old and see what they did wrong. Look at the new and look at the guidelines that are in the new that we should be following and try to fulfill those things. You know what I mean? And using the past as an example.
Okay.
You understand what
With
am I saying it the right way?
yeah, with Queen's explanation, and with Donna Moody um explanation, or and with my or Donna's thought, Queen thought, and my thought. What is your thought on it, since you've put out there, Prophet, in regards to the Bible said that you should not lean on the past? And how are we to correct the future if we don't look at what happened in the past?
Well, for one,
And before you
everything that's
answer,
happening right now, the Bible speaks about it.
sorry, Apostle, before you answer, Donna Moody says, it is history repeating itself, floods, storms, etc. And that was the collapsation of those BC times. And the same things are happening in the present. So, and now, go ahead, Prophet.
You look at the words, as Queenie says,
Mm-hmm.
it's the words that matters, and the words are fulfilling in our present day today.
Yeah, but those are words of the past. Those are words that people were saying in the past. So
And okay,
we have to apply those words to the future, to the now, in order to make changes
Yes, we
and to stop the complete
don't
cycle.
dwell. In other words, what I'm saying is we don't dwell on the past.
Okay.
We learn from our experiences and we move forward, and we take those experiences with us to improve on our future, make our future a brighter future. And so we now have knowledge. Knowledge is power. So with the knowledge of the past, we use that to propel us to go towards
in a
towards
positive
our future.
way, yes. Yeah, in a positive light.
But if we are just going to go back to the past in a negative way, and you take up the past, you continue to carry the past, and it's not helping you to go forward, that makes no sense. Because what that means, it means that you're stuck in the past, and you're not in the present with us.
Mm.
Okay, so let's go into the present, and let's go forward into the present, into the now, and into the present of what is taking
What do we
place now
want?
with all of the guns and the violence and the death and the destructions and the floods and the fires and the everything that is going on. What are
Repercussions.
okay? The Donna says,
So
oh boy, this is a lot. Hold on. It is okay. I read that part. And then Donna says, it is a human evolution. They are subhuman amongst us. And then the past is in the present with us. Oh,
Yeah, but then listen here now. Remember, we have examples in the word. There are examples within the word that show us how to deal with the present. But what
right.
happened is that people are not looking at that, and they're not focusing on that because they love the negative, and that's why in the past you have so much problems in the past in terms of people doing things that was against God. You know what I mean? Because they were again living and not following the examples that was put forth for them to follow, so that they won't end up in the negative state. You see what I'm saying to you? But us now, what we have to do is read the Bible, Read the word, not even the Bible, but the word. Because now you don't even have to use the Bible. You hear the words all the time. People always posting things on the media, especially Facebook, about God, about loving your sisters and brothers. Um, and these things are not foreign to us because we have feelings. As humans, we have feelings, and we feel when something is wrong. So why not push to do right instead of the wrong? And mental illness does not have anything to do with that. It's just half of it is how you was raised up. I'm sorry to say it, but half of
Okay,
it comes from the home life. How your parents, what your parents taught you, how your
No,
parents
I'm gonna
dealt
stop you
with
there.
you.
I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna stop you there.
Mhm.
Because there's parents that have taught their children so well, and they've given their children everything and brought them up in the best way that they can, and these children still go out there and do all types of atrocities. So yes, we
That's
can
what I
instill in
say.
our we
Go
can
back to the
instill
truth.
we can instill in our children all that we want to still, and we can hope that
But you
they
still go
all
back to the right.
that
Because,
they
honey, I
all
was doggone
but it's
bad.
not
My
it's
father was a minister.
but
My
it's not
father was a
all.
minister. My father taught me all kind of pertaining to God. He taught me, but I was experimenting, and I had to go out there. I had to learn about Rastafari. I end up with Muslims. I end up with all these other groups. But what? I came right back around because I was taught certain things, and even though I was doing other things, it was still in the back of my mind
And that's
that
a
this is
good
what
and that's a
I'm
good
supposed to
thing.
do.
And that's a good thing, Queen, and you and many others are the exceptions to the rule. But there are other persons out there that have been brought up in that way, and no matter what they've been taught, and no matter how much church they went to, they are still um destructive beings on this earth. We go back to
And what,
subhumans. And what is subhumans? Since we keep talking about this evil spirit that is on the earth, and we're going to the Bible and we're going to the earth, um, let's think about this subhuman thing that keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. Another
okay.
creature, another form of life from somewhere else that is here and that is taking over
God the
persons'
devil.
bodies.
Thank the devil.
Those are who are we
Are
calling.
along with us
Okay. Before
in
you
this
you
earth.
before you comment, Prophet, we have another comment here. We have people from the 9th and 11th century and so forth amongst us in our new millennium. Donna, I'm not catching that one. Hold on, we got a call here. Caller, caller, you are live on the air. How you doing?
Yes, hi, it's Donna.
Greetings, Donna. How are you? I was reading your comments.
Right.
Yeah, I was reading your comments
Yeah,
out loud. Elaborate a little bit more on where we're going with this, with the 9th and the 11th century and the subhumans
right.
and so on.
Okay, all right. That is what His Imperial Majesty had addressed the United Nations with. Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, everywhere is war. And until the subhuman who has our brothers and sisters in Angola in subhuman bondage um, is totally toppled and destroyed, everywhere will be war, right? We have subhumans amongst us right now. And do you see the change of the weather and everything that happened in those times, the BC times, are happening right here in the present. They are amongst us. Okay, so I mean, it's up to you to make it out. All right, so it's like, I mean, you can research on your own if you don't actually understand it at first, because when I was first told this, I couldn't really grasp at it as being the truth. Okay, but when I see, where do we get these lookalikes from? I mean, I have my own personal experience that I'm sharing. Where are these lookalikes coming from?
When you say, turn down the thing, turn down your radio in the back. When you're saying
Okay.
lookalikes, when you're saying like when sometimes we see people that look like us, and we said, man, you have somebody. I just saw somebody in favor you.
Okay, well, listen, I can have someone who looks like me. I can have someone who looks like my cousin, but I can't have people who just looks like everyone in my whole entire family. Okay? So you can't look like my cousin. You have someone who looks like my mother. You have someone that looks like my daughter. You have someone that looks like my brother, and it's not us. So how do you explain that?
So how does a one know that is not them?
Slavery days.
Listen,
Sorry.
there's no problem. There's a lot of people that go to church, doing Bible studies. God is not the only character in the Bible. Okay, so there's many different characters in the Bible. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to church to seek God. A lot of them go to church to seek those ancient people and bring them back in the present, and listen. Like I said, I have concrete evidence. These are facts. All right, and I would never believe in those things coming up. I never believed in Delarance or Obia witchcraft or any of those things. Trust me, they have them come in the form of cats and mice, rats, and all sorts of different things. It is a true story. Okay? It's undisputed fact. All right, so this is what these people work with. All right, go ahead, because I don't want to keep going.
No. Andrew, you were saying something as well?
Trying to get because the main purpose and focus of going to church is because of God. It is not because of
It's
so
not okay.
I'm trying to figure out what is it exactly that you're saying, because I'm not getting you at all.
Yeah, you go to church to seek God. People is not only seeking God in church. Okay, there's many different characters in the Bible that they bring back. There's a way, the time machine. You bring them back here. They're here with us, amongst us in the present. Okay, I'm for God. Anybody who's really okay, go ahead.
What were you saying?
Bring them back. I'm curious.
You're curious to know how you can bring them back? You have people. Some of them practice Ouija boards. Right? When you practice the Ouija board, you communicate with the dead.
Talking about
and
you are talking about spiritual witchcraft, and we're talking about God here, and the two doesn't work together.
No, they don't work together. But I'm just telling you, people will use it in the form of God, but it's not God that you're speaking. Okay, it's evident. It's okay. It's you. Okay, go ahead.
Say that people go to church for different reasons. I can understand that, but in terms of bringing back characters or characteristics from the Bible, I'm not following you on that at all.
No, I'm not following you on that one either.
Okay, you see. Okay, I know that. Some people might not understand, so that's why I try to be as clear as possible. But if you look at what's going on right now, you can attach it to times that are in the past. During those collapsations of those ages, right? Like the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, the Stone Age. I have something wherein that there's a piece that was put on it's called a union on a pipe that no one of this present time can tell you where that iron came from because it's from the past. Okay.
Are you a believer?
Of course I'm a believer.
What do you believe in, though?
I believe in God Almighty. I believe in Jah, His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. And that if you listen to what he told,
I'm not.
do you see? Did you hear his speech
No,
that he used to address the United Nations? Okay,
if you
this is
believe,
something that he spoke of. We're being held in subhuman bondage by subhuman beings. They're other species. It's a human evolution. They speak of it. It's something that they glorify even in music. Okay, so it's something that is that's a species that's amongst us. They're Neanderthals. They're Homo naledi, Homo erectus. Even some of these people those are not even babies that they're having. Well, okay, so look at the Bodies Museum.
Oh, we need Mama Acid here tonight.
Okay, wait, listen.
Yes.
Oh, Mama Acid is not here. Listen.
No,
so
Mama
listen,
Acid
sir.
is not here
Andrew,
tonight.
that's your name, right?
Yes.
but
That's Prophet.
Okay.
if we're having a conversation, I'm expecting you to answer my question because I'm answering your question.
Okay,
No, because you're breaking up a little,
readdress
that's why. Okay, go ahead.
readdress your question, please, Prophet, and then Donna, you answer.
If you believe in God, you're just believing in God. I hear you mention several different names.
No, I mentioned one name because that's my God.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's several
I mentioned
names you
one
mentioned
name.
right there.
I mentioned one person
She said
that goes by
Imperial
those
Majesty
names. Jah, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I the first. That's it's only one person, but he goes by those names.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the thing is that like you have the polytheist religion that has many lords and they're sky gods, and if you look and you see all of these skyscrapers that are being developed, come on. I can tell you about the gateway to the sun and how the gateway mall is, these are past people. They're military. Okay, it's a gateway experience, wherein that it is a.
You could say something in a minute, Queen. We have 5 minutes to go, and I think this is. I have to, once Mama Acid Electricity come back on, she's gonna have to review this tape because I know that Mama Acid is going to have a mouthful to to interject in this reasoning that we're having right here. Queen, you go ahead, and you're on the floor, then Andrew and Donna, you could say something to the end, then we're going to end the program, and next week I think we ought to pick up right at this point next week so that we can really kind of sort of get to a closure on it. What was you saying, Apostle? Prophet?
Can I ask a question? How long is this on Thursday supposed to be for?
Sorry?
How long is this reason on Thursday supposed to be for? An hour, 2 hours? What?
Reasoning Thursday is supposed to be from 8 to 9, 1 hour. And we have gone into, and we have another caller. We have another caller on the line. Caller, hold the line. We and Prophet. Could someone turn down their music in the back, their radio in the background? Caller that just called in, could you please turn down your radio in the background? Please turn off your radio or turn it down, please. In the background. All
Hello.
right. Thank you. Hello, caller.
Yeah,
I would like to come in on this program, but I would wait till next week because I got some very interesting things to say. Because it's going to take up the rest of the time. I heard what the young lady just said,
Yes.
and I'm sorry to say that, but she have a lot to learn. She have a lot more to learn because what and I heard what the prophet said about the past. You can't forget the past. You got to know where you're coming from to know where you got to go. So if the past is taken away from you, you are lost. You're lost coming into this world. This is why the slave masters have kept us from reading and keep us down, so we would not know who we are. You see?
I agree with you. I never said that.
And
that's what.
And
yeah, that's yeah. No, Donna, the caller is saying that that statement goes to the prophet as to letting go of the past. But he's saying, but the caller is also saying that you need to learn a lot as well. So this is
saying.
Okay, I'm gonna let this conversation go on for about another extra. We're gonna go over just a little bit, and we're gonna go over because I see that apostle, I see that prophet is saying that. Listen, this is not enough time. We have to have more time.
No, because it's a situation.
We want to say that, and I like the conversation. But we can all learn from each other.
Yes, definitely.
And understand the way the thing is. Because, it's a lot of things. If you really, I'm a historian myself. And if you take a look at from the beginning, right? Even when they bring up the Noah and the ark and all this stuff, you see, if you notice, every year the hurricanes and the storm comes, and it comes off the coast of Africa, and it comes to this side of the world. You see, we being in Africa, we didn't know this. You see, so when they explore and they come on this side, they know what disaster takes place on this side of the world. So they use it against us. You see, and who controlled the Bible when the beginning was the Romans, was the wickedest empire in the whole world. And how can a wicked empire wrote the book that we are reading today and says those are the words of God?
Yes.
You see? So you got to look at that, right? So when you look at that, then you will understand why did they tell us we couldn't read. The first slave ship came from Africa, comes to this side of the world. Name was Jesus. You see, and you got to understand something here. And I'm not trying to make it a racial thing, but the Ark of the Covenant was in Ethiopia. The whole of Africa was Ethiopia, right? Yeah. So when the Ark of the Covenant, when they take that, the British government take it away from Ethiopia. Those was the law book of who was who and who was the wicked. And if you notice, who are the wickedest people on the face of this earth? Do you know in Africa, I'm not going to put it in a sense, but the white folks, they murdered thousands of black, the Kikuyu tribe in Kenya for power. They kill them, thousands of them. They did the same thing in the United States in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. When the black folks were carried into power, they bombed the city and dropped bombs on them. We have to look at the history. So when they take the Bible, when I was coming up in school in Jamaica, all I see was a white God. My great-grandmother was a maroon, and she told me there's no such thing. They're manipulating us. And if you notice, every cultural song that comes out of Jamaica is scriptural written. You take a good look, it's the only country in the world that ever did that. And this is why the British government make an order, I think it was 1963 or 64, when they put an order to kill all Rastafarian out of Jamaica. So we got to understand the history so we know how to move forward. We can understand each other. They're wicked amongst us. But if you notice, no, black people don't run people down and kill them and hang them on trees. You see, right now
that,
in
not,
this country, in America, I just want to say one thing. In this country here, if you go to courthouse, the white people does not put their hand on the Bible. You see, they don't put their hand on the Bible. They let the black folks put their hand on the Bible and swear to God because we was afraid. Because we, as black folks, we know the power of the Spirit of God, and they know that.
All right. Prophet wants to say something. Go ahead, Prophet.
Go ahead.
I with a lot of things that was said a moment ago. One, to say that other nations are wicked and we are not wicked, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Because we as a black nation, not innocent at all, in peace. And the thing is, we need to take responsibility for our actions and stop pointing fingers at everybody else.
Now, okay. When you finish, I'm going to address that point right there. When you go ahead.
We're not innocent to nothing at all. We're not innocent. I don't know about you, but me know say the black race not innocent from nothing. Because we are just as wicked as any other nation.
Okay, could I address something there now?
Wait a minute, caller. Let Prophet finish his statement. Go ahead, Prophet.
Go ahead,
That's
Prophet.
1 point. Secondly, if we're only going to remember the past, that's going to bring bitterness to us. So what does that help us to do? How does that help us to move forward? Does it help us to move forward with a very bad heart? With a negative energy? Really? That's why we should remember the past?
Okay,
so that we can go and have animosity. And I continue to eat the white race and the Indian race and the Chinese race. That's why we should remember the history? Really? I don't know about you. I don't want to talk about that.
But even the killing does not stem with just white folks killing. Black folks killing. Look at all these young kids, boys every day killing each other.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, but
we were talking about.
No. But look at this.
Killing.
No. Hold on, Queenie. Take a look at this now. Remember, they told us when they bring us here in slave ships, right? Black people wasn't killing black people, right? They murdered us. Thousands. Hold on 1 second, sir. Okay, hold on, sir. They told us we couldn't read. They keep us from reading. You know the word nigger means kings in Africa. But they make it so it sounds like it's bad for us. Niggers mean kings. If you read Acts 13, chapter 13, it tells you. When they say Niger, N-I-G-G-E-R, it's nigger. So you have to look at that. So when we look at this and how they stop us from reading and we couldn't go to their church, which God were we serving? In America, which God were we serving? So you're talking about if they deprive us from our rights, they separate us from our parents.
This killing been going on in Africa.
Okay. All right. Wait. One at a time. We're gonna do.
Hold on. I'm trying to show you a point. I don't say killing is going on when you do wrong, yes. But what I'm trying to say to you, if you separate a lion from his mother in the wild and you put him in a zoo, you can pat him and he won't bite you. You see the difference? So if they separate us from our parents, we don't know nothing about our ancestors and how powerful we are. So they deprived us. Poverty brings crime. So they keep us in poverty. So when you become in poverty, what you going to do? Your back is against the wall. We don't own the bank.
Okay, wait, 1 moment. Okay, 1 moment, Oliver. We 1 moment, Queen. 1 moment, Queen. We have some comments. Olivia says 1 at a time. Olivia says, hi, Queen. Olivia says, sorry, cousin Queenie. And then she says, hi, my lady D. And she says, wow. So my question. Okay, I'm totally hearing what you're saying, Oliver. I'm hearing what you're saying, right, caller? We need one at a time. So now, Queen, I'm gonna let you go on and say what you're saying. Then, Apostle, you can come on, and then I'm gonna ask the question. Since we have a lot of scholars on the line here as to the beginning of time, I have a question that we posed a couple of weeks ago, and it hasn't been answered as yet. So I would hope that each one can answer that question. Go ahead, Queen.
Okay.
Hold on.
What I was saying, Oliver, you said that the more or less from what I'm gathering from what you're saying that violence wasn't going on within the black race until slavery. But that is not true because I have a lot of friends, not here in Georgia, but in New York that came from Africa. And these were things that we discussed. I was president of the African Caribbean Association. And these are things that was said there, where they have tribal wars. They have wars between different tribes for control of territory or land. You know what I mean? And so this has been going on a very long time. Not just that, but from reading history, it shows you that there was a lot of these Africans that sold their own family members to the white man.
Okay, before you answer, Oliver, before you answer, let Queen finish, and then we're gonna hear from
go ahead,
Prophet,
Queen.
and then
go ahead.
Donna. We have to give Donna
Violence
time
been
to
going
chime
on
in as
for
well.
a very long time. And as to Sister Moody, Sister, I was in the Rastafarian movement for many, many years, many years. I was also in the Muslim movement. But my satisfaction came from being a Christian in the past 10 years. I've gotten more out of that and out of the teaching than I did being a Rastafarian, because most of the time us women in the Rasta movement were following the men. It's what the men say, and that's what we did. We did what they tell us. We were not privileged to think for ourselves and to investigate things for ourselves. So once I started investigating things for myself, I learned a lot that I did not agree with. I do not agree. I'm not saying it's up to you what you want to believe, but I do not agree that El Selassie is God. You see what I'm saying? There is a force higher than man that governs this universe, and I don't care what you call it, but there's a force. It's not a man. It's a force. You see what I'm saying? And it's all over the world, not just in one country, but all over the world. So, I've done my researches, and this is how I think and what I believe. And Oliver, I don't agree with you about white folks. Yes, they did a whole lot of wicked stuff, but black folks did a whole lot of wicked stuff too.
Okay, Donna, go on, and Donna, you could go on and make your comment, and then we go to Prophet.
So, with me, it's not a race.
I don't know who has us on speaker. Someone has us. One moment. Someone has us on speaker. Could you please take us off of speaker? I'm hearing an echo. Does someone phone on speaker?
That's why I can barely make out.
Yeah, the radio is playing in the background, and someone has their telephone on speaker. Or if we can try to mute our phones when we're talking. Please, whomever have the radio in the back, or I'm going to have to cut everyone off and then just end the program. We've got to turn the radio down in the back, and we have to take off of speaker. Okay, go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I don't play the race card, okay? Because they said, black does wrong, white does wrong, Chinese, whatever the race may be. Everybody does wrong. The thing is that I'm not basing this on a race. I'm basing it on species that had existed before modern humans, okay, that are amongst us. They look like us, right? They sound like us, but they are not us, okay? And why I speak of His Imperial Majesty, because he told you when he addressed the United Nations, he told the United Nations in his speech that until the subhumans who has our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique, in South Africa, in subhuman bondage, until they are totally toppled and destroyed, everywhere is going to be war. We have to totally topple them and destroy them in order for this war to cease. This is why we're at war, because it's them, it's subhuman beings. They are not humans. That's why they have humans in subhuman bondage. So that's the reason for the war that we're seeing right now. Okay? And like 9/11, we were sleeping, and a lot of us are still sleeping. Okay? So the thing is that what they did, it was a radiation experimentation that was addressed in 95, which they used the O.J. Simpson trial to overshadow the Clinton's Presidential Advisory Committee brought that to trial because there was an experimentation going on. And I am living proof, okay? The gateway more is the gateway experience. It's a hemi-sync brain synchronization. Okay? So the thing is that these studies are being conducted by the people, or whatever you want to call them. Okay? If you want to call them people, I know that they're not. But I'll sometimes refer to them as people just because they're amongst us and they look like us. I watch you replace my family. Where's my family? And how come you sound so much like us and you're not us? Okay? So we're replaced with robots. We're replaced with beings from outer space, another planet, from who traveled from past times. Okay, when you read the Bible is from the past. The Bible is not written in the present. They just, they might revise it, but this is from the past. So you can't say, you can't focus on the past if you go to church and you're reading the Bible, because the Bible was written in past time. Okay, so it's not to say, you're going to focus on the past. No, I was never that type of person. This is why their evil was able to triumph, because I didn't have that particular belief, but I see what you're doing. Okay, so I'm just letting it be known that His Imperial Majesty addressed the United Nations where all of these things, 9/11, the bunker room, the bunker bin, okay, under the Grand Central train station is right there, 42nd Street area, where the United Nations is. And this is where His Imperial Majesty gave his speech. Okay, and he addressed that. If they're not totally toppled and destroyed, everywhere will be war. And what are we seeing everywhere? It is war, because it is those species. Okay? His Imperial Majesty went at war with Mussolini because they were killing human beings through science. They were spraying the crops with all sorts of chemicals. Okay? And they're doing the same thing now. We can't even find anything good to eat. Okay? So it's the same thing. And that's just my point, because my point I know is fact. And I don't try to force what I know on anyone else. I tell them, research. Okay? And then you tell me what you gather from what you research. I will tell you something, and if you don't quite understand it, you research it. I'm not telling you that I'm right. I learned from you. You learned from me.
All right.
I would never say, you're wrong. I listen to you. Okay? I listen to you. I might not agree, right? This is the program where we agree to disagree, right?
Yes.
So I'm not right. So I'm not. I would never say that. Oh, you don't know what you're speaking of. I just want you to just look at what we're undergoing. Listen to what I'm saying, and then you can research it. And you can see
that's
where did
something,
Bodies Museum.
and that's something,
Where did the
Donna.
bodies?
Donna, that's something
Where
that
did the
we
Bodies and Bodies Museum come from?
say that again.
Where did the Bodies and Bodies Museum come from? Where did those dead bodies come from? That's in Bodies Museum all over the world.
Okay, hold that thought. We have some comments here. Olivia says we were manipulated by them and further hating ourselves to see each other as our own enemies. She also says, I believe we are living in a time where the world has to end to start anew. Too much hate, envy, jealousy, pure evil. Those are the two comments. And now, Prophet, we were saying we'll let you go on, and then Oliver, you can go on. Go ahead, Prophet. Donna, was you complete?
Well, I mean, I'm listening to Prophet, and then I'll comment after.
All righty, go ahead, Prophet.
Yes. I am sick and tired of us as a race that's always pointing the finger at other races for this and for that.
Yes.
And not taking responsibility for our own actions and our own behavior. Half of the people that was sent into slavery was sent into slavery by our own people. Are we to capture them and sell them to the slave drivers? So we are our worst enemy. And we need to stop pointing fingers and take responsibility for our own actions and our own behavior. And when we will be truly is when we stop pointing fingers and take responsibility.
Okay, I'm not playing the race card because to me it's only one race, and that's the human race. And that's who I'm defending, human beings. I'm not defending white, black. I'm defending humans. So I'm not playing the race card.
My question, and then after this question, and I have each and every one to answer this question, is and this was something that was posed about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we haven't gotten an answer to it. Since everyone on here is somewhat into the culture and into the beginning of time and into the Bible and so on, when the question that was posed was when God discovered this earth, where did God come from that discovered this earth?
That's a good question. Okay.
Because I mean, some persons want to say he's a man, a spirit. Like, where did this God come from that we feel that there is only life on earth? And that's speaking a little bit back with Donna, and that's speaking a little back with I think we had this conversation, I think with someone else a couple of weeks back, as to angels and spirits, good and bad, on the formation of this earth. Where did these angels, because and also these gods with the S at the end, where did all of them come from? And is there really subhumans? I'll let oh boy, Donna, you first respond, then we'll get it in order with Donna, then Oliver, then Prophet, then Queen, and then we're going to end this and complete it next week. Go ahead, Donna.
Yes, you have subhumans amongst us. They're almost human. Yes, they look like us, but they are not us. Okay? And there's many religious institutions that when they go to their congregations, that is who they are seeking. Okay? And like I said, I'm a godly person, and I'm for anyone who believes in God truly. Okay? But you do have a lot of these religious institutions when they congregate. During their congregation, they are not seeking God when they're doing Bible study.
And where
They're
do you
seeking-
feel
they're
that
seek-
God come from? Where do you think that God come from, and what is God?
Well, for me to tell, I don't want to speak on something that I really cannot answer for you, because to say where God came from, I don't have the answer to that specific question. Okay, but there's other planets. There's, we have a universe, and He rules the universe. So, like you said, for them to say that He discovered our Earth or whatever, He had to come from someplace else besides Earth. So I really, like I said, I don't want to speak on something that I know not of, but I can always research and try to, find the answer to that question.
Okay.
But
that's
as
fair.
far as me being able to answer that directly, I couldn't do that right now.
That's fair. That's fair. Oliver?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody. All right. Now, I'm going back because I grew up in the church, went to Bible college, and all of this stuff in Jamaica. Let me tell you something. First coming up, they tell you Adam and Eve were the first two people on the face of the earth, right? Mm-hmm. First two people. And Cain killed Abel, right? And then he went away to the Far East and he get married to an Oriental. So it's confusing now to say if it's only two people on the face, so that means someone is married and sister. Now, I think it's a race, it's everybody is separate. Everybody's in their own race. If you notice from the time beginning, everybody was in their own domain. The black was in Africa, the China was in the Chinese area, and the white was in the Greek, was the Trojans. Those were the people, right? So we were all in a separate place, right? Everything was ruling. There was one guy who ruled Africa, which Africa was Ethiopia. Everything was fine. Everybody was living good. When the invasion started from the other people coming and taking over because they see the wealth and the riches that we have in Africa. Africa is the only place on the face of this earth that have everything it needs to supply the rest of the world. You see? Exactly. So when they came in, they start killing the people for power. They start putting brothers against brothers. And that's how all these things start, with the corruption again. And you start to put you against your mother, your sister, and everybody, right? So, say this. We come back to the religion. Christianity is the only religion that tries to convert everybody. Whether if you say, this religion is no good, this is no good, Christianity is the best, right? Now, I have a problem with that. And when they come in, they kill you in the name of the Lord and take your land. They take your land. Now, Africa don't even own by Africans. Kenya don't own by Africans. Nigeria don't own by Africans. It's an African country. South Africa don't own by Africans. Think about it. So when the prophet was saying we need to get ourselves together, every time a great leader comes to represent us as a people to move forward, guess what? They kill him. They kill him. They killed Malcolm X. They killed Marcus Garvey. They killed Martin Luther King, right? They killed W.D. Boyd. They killed him, right? They killed everybody.
And the thing is, they're not even really dead. They're not even really dead. They just take them out the picture.
They're killing. See? So what you look at now, right? Whenever the leader comes, because they know the power of the black people themselves. And that's what they're afraid of. And right now, why you see they have all of this chaos going on? Because guess what? We are multiplying and we are mixing. The race is mixing. There are more of us than them. And that's where the problem comes in. When they have the last president here that came in, that was the last stand for them. You see? So we got to look at that. So if they keep us separated, right? Everything we do, we exceed them. And they know this. We don't own no banks. We don't own no financial institutes. So how can we say if the party can sit there and say we need to get together? Financially, we can't make it because they're not lending us no money. The same church you go to every Sunday that collect over $1 million every Sunday, you can't go to that bank and get a loan. The same church will put the money into the bank that you go to. You can't even get a loan from that bank. So how we can build our economy, right? The only one thing that they had back in the early 60s, 50s, was the Wall Street from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they burned it down and killed thousands of black folks. People don't talk about that. They talk about Rosewood, how much black folks they killed when they tried to build their own stuff. Then you talk about Selma. I go to Selma every year in March. And even when the Buffalo Soldiers came in and fought the war in America for the United States, when each Haitian was provided citizenship for this country.
Okay, I'm not going to cut you, Oliver, because we want it in detail, but we want it in full detail for next week. But the question was, where do God come from? Where do God come from if he found the earth?
Okay, they said in the Bible, as what they tell us, that God created man in his own image, right?
Yes.
And so I'm going to point out to you. Who is the creator today? The woman. The female is the creator. So who is to tell the truth God is not a woman? See?
Right.
All right. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Exactly.
Hold that thought for next week. No, we have some comments here. Okay, one more second, and then I'm gonna read the comments. Then we go to Anne.
The name woman. You see? Remember, the woman is first and the man is behind. So it's woman. You have the both names. So why I say this, a lot of times men think they can outsmart a woman. You can't, because we come from them.
Oh, because
we have to think.
Okay, we have another question.
So we can talk about that next week,
because we have another question that just came up on the text, but I'm gonna say it after I read these comments. Olivia says, who do you believe invaded? The statement wasn't finished now, and they are afraid. I guess they are afraid, to one of the comments that you all made. It's best. And then Olivia says, where do God come from? And do you believe he was made up to keep many in line, as some no believers say?
He sure did.
Okay. And
he sure did.
Another question that came up was, as to God making image into his own, as God make men into his own image, did the Romans switch it up from woman to make it man? I don't understand that. I kind of understand, but I don't understand that comment, caller. But go ahead. We're gonna give Prophet his turn. Prophet, go ahead, because I know you have lots to say.
Let me give you one thought, and then I probably could go. I just want to take you this right here.
Okay.
And if you know this, even
give me a chance.
You know what?
Okay, 1 minute, Prophet. 1 minute, Prophet. 1 minute.
I want to make one statement.
Sir, you need to be for a long time.
One statement. I'm just want to say something because they stopped me.
1 moment, 1 moment, Prophet. No, 1 moment. Go ahead,
1 moment.
Real quick, Oliver, and then let's go over to Prophet.
In the jungle, the male lion doesn't hunt, it's a female lion. And I will leave it right here.
Okay. Go ahead, Prophet. You have the floor.
Sir, I'm going to be honest with you. You need to be respectful for time and give other people the opportunity to speak as 10 minutes,
Yes.
and you need to back up a minute and give
Okay.
the other people who have not spoken yet a time to speak.
All right. Go ahead, Prophet. You have the floor.
Okay, the
And we
Bible speaks
apologize for
about
that.
God, about the Heavenly Father. So therefore, God could never be a female. God is masculine. The Spirit of
No.
God is masculine. It's not female. And if the
Wow.
Bible says that the male is the head of the household, a female cannot be the priesthood. That's number one. So we need to get that straight. The Spirit of God is
Romans again.
masculine. It's not.
Go ahead,
And if
Prophet.
you had, if you went to Bible school, then you would have known that.
I did, sir.
All
And they
right, all
lied
right,
to me.
okay. We don't let's not throw shades. Okay, let's just stick to what we're saying here. I have comments
The
coming
Spirit,
from Olivia. Says, come on, we are all mature. I am trying to gain knowledge and understand. So please, one at a time. And Lady D, we need a time limit. Yes, we do. And that's what Andrew just said, 10 minutes. Olivia, do you question, do you know for sure? I guess that is if you were saying that God is not a woman. And she says, yes, Lady D. Okay, blessings. Thank you for your comment as well, caller. So go ahead, Andrew. You have the floor and make your points clear.
my point is, there's two worlds. There's the spirit world and there's the physical world. The God that we speak about lives within the spirit realm, and He's a spirit. And the Bible says, "They that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth."
Truth.
Judith mentioned about other beings and they're amongst us. Yes, we are actually rubbing shoulder against the spirit world. And so those who have spiritual eyes to see will see things, and those that don't will not see. Okay? And that's why the Bible speaks about, and if God is a female, the Bible speaks about our Heavenly Father. Our Heavenly Father is God. Father. A father cannot be a female. A father is a male. And if we refer to him as him and father, how can he be a female? That don't make any sense. So it's not anything that's confusing us. We confusing ourselves by not understanding when we read. So we need to read and read with understanding.
Okay, so with this hymn,
Could
could it not
I
have been?
say something?
Since the Romans are the one that
It's my
translated,
turn next, Oliver.
is Queen turns next. But if the Romans to you
cut that
You
one
mess with Ollie.
one moment to you prophet
Okay,
prophet
go on, get it in talk.
to you
Because you're saying
prophet
the right thing.
as the Romans, if the Romans are the one who read these book, and I have someone else I think I'm going to bring on this program next week, and myself and him was having another reasoning in regards to the translation of lots of words in the Bible that are not translated correctly. So
Correctly. All right.
if God, men cannot birth, so women has to be the ones that birth on this earth.
Thank you.
So
Thank
and
you.
if God made us in his image, then why could it not be that it was a woman? And if translations in the Bible were not, is some words are not correctly translated due to the writings of the past, and the Romans were the one who translated and put things in there also to put fear into black people, then why is it whereas we could not be, God
You're so
cannot be
right.
a woman, and the
Thank you.
translations could not be correct?
Thank you. Thank you.
And so why could God not be a man for who he is?
Because
I,
you
no,
see,
no,
Same
no.
thing.
the thing is this,
I've never said that God cannot be a man. But you said God
right?
cannot be a woman with conviction. When you said He cannot be a woman because of He, the word He that is, and Father that is in the Bible, and you said it with conviction. My question was, could it not be an error of translation as well?
I don't believe that's an error.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
believe
So
that.
if there's no woman on the face of this earth, generation doesn't go on.
And
Don't
Olivia
twist
says,
God's words.
do you?
Do
Lady,
not
didn't
twist.
we discuss this for almost a whole month when we did religion?
Olivia says, do you think we were conditioned to say father or him?
Thank you. Say it again. Say it again. Say it
Oh,
again.
listen, this conversation has to go on next week. We are at 10:15. We are at 10:15.
But
Queen,
now
Andrew,
finish.
if you want to go
Queen,
ahead, and
Yeah.
not
if
talk.
Andrew, if you
All
can
right.
finish
What
that,
Queen
and then
have
we
to
go over to
say?
Queen.
What Queen have to over? Listen.
Go
What
ahead,
Go
Queen
ahead.
have to say is this. Okay.
Go ahead,
Like
please.
I
I
said,
listen to you.
I my father taught me about religion. I wasn't listening at the time, but he was teaching me. And then through school, I also learned about religion. As I started getting older, I started to inquire about things on my own. I met my husband and I ended up in the Rastafarian sect, even though my brother was. But then I wasn't paying attention to him. So I started paying more attention to my husband. And he we separated and he ended up passing. And after he passed, I started to really investigate things for myself. And I said, but Queenie, you feel things. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I think I have a special gift to feel things. Okay. My pastor said I have that discerning spirit. Anyway, I feel things, and sometimes I feel things and it manifests. I've been on a bus going on a trip with my mother, and when we got
Limited
to the
time,
place,
Queen. So we want to
I knew
know.
exactly. I'm gonna be quick.
Okay,
I
because we
knew
want to know where you
exactly.
think God come from. Go ahead.
I knew exactly where things were. Okay, so therefore there is something, some kind of spirit we have inside of us. I feel that God is a spirit. That's the way I feel. I don't think of it as man or woman. I think of it as a spirit, a force that is higher than man that governs the universe. And my family can tell you, I always say that because that's how I feel within myself. He gave you the knowledge,
Okay.
wisdom, and understanding to know right from wrong. Because, like I said even earlier, you feel when you're doing something wrong and you feel when you're doing something right. So it's up to you to follow. We learned that when you feel something is right, that's good. When you feel something is not right, that is bad. Okay? So therefore, we have that spirit, that feeling within us to know right from wrong. And I think that came from the force that that governs the universe. And like I said, I don't care what you call it. Now there are spirits out there that are not of God. Good. I'm not even gonna say God, that are not good. You have good spirits and you have bad spirits, okay? That roam this universe. Okay? I don't know if it's out of space or wherever the heck it's coming from, but I know that you have bad spirit here on this planet. Okay? You have good spirit on this planet. Now, it's up to you with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you were given to choose right from wrong, because you know when you're doing something wrong. Yes, there's mental issues that surround us, and we do feel that. Some people do, and they do wrong. Yeah, that's not the norm. That's just few people that's that are going through that. But there are people that are actually wicked. There are wicked people out there, and they came just to create problems and to create disturbances. Okay, we know that exists also because we see it every day. Okay, in the killings and all of those things. But I still feel that there is a God within us. There is, and God is good. It's not. I'm not saying man or woman. God is good. So we have that goodness within us, and we need to let the goodness override the bad things within us. Because we have both, we have both good and bad. But we try to bring out the good at all times. I praise myself on trying to do good. Sometimes I might even hurt myself in the process of doing good because I feel that's the way we should be going. We all should be doing good, helping each other, working with each other. Now, in Africa, like we talked about the ancestors, there are things that we don't know about in Africa because we were sent to the Western world. And there are things in the Western world that we adapted. Yes, there might be good things in Africa and there might be bad things. From my teaching,
So
there were
Queen,
good and bad.
so Queen, do
And
you
there's
feel
good and bad all over the world.
Queen, I'm gonna
So
interrupt
I
you.
want to end it right there.
Okay, and so
Yes, God.
next week I think we'll pick it up where do you
Pick it up next week.
next week we'll complete it. Because it's
Because
10:20. And then we're
every
going to
great
set
man,
time limits. We're going to set time limits as to
yes,
5
minutes.
minutes per
This is
person
this is
to get your point
this is
across.
every great
Now,
man.
this is
There's a
deep.
woman
This is
behind it.
deep. This is deep.
Every great man in this country, and every great man that comes along, there's a woman in the picture. So think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But we still need to work on the
Andrew,
children. Figure out how we going to save our kids.
okay, Prophet, I'm gonna let you leave out with the last words, and then I'm gonna close out. And what's your last words for the listeners to take home until next week?
Know God is knowledge, and have an understanding of God that is also knowledge. For me personally, I'm taking responsibility for my own actions and behavior. I'm not going to point any fingers on anyone because that's not going to help. Because if I keep continuing to point fingers at everybody else rather than taking responsibility, my generation is going to come and do the very same thing. So there will be no change. And we keep doing the same thing, we're going to get the same results. We change what we do, how we think, how we act, how we behave, then we will see different results. That's what I have.
Okay. Olivia says, yes, I am loving it. And she also says society does play a part of how people think and act. Thank you so much, Olivia, for your comment. Donna Moody, we thank you for your comment and being on the program. Prophet Andrew, we thank you so much for your comments and being on the program. Oliver, we thank you for calling in and your comments and being on the program. And Queen, we thank you very much for calling in and co-hosting with me today. As Mama ASID lines are down, so she will be back with us next week as we continue these reasoning sessions right here. If you have a reasoning topic that you would like us to discuss, send it to dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com. That's dapowerhouseradio@gmail.com. or leave us a message on our 706-955-2001 numbers. And for all of our listeners all around the world, if you have Skype, the number is a Skype to Skype. It's free. So no matter where you are around the world and you want to call in, if you have Skype, you can dial in on that 706-955-2001 number to get your voices heard right here on the Powerhouse Radio. Also, Reasoning Thursdays. We are on each and every Thursday. Do be sure to join the fantabulous programming. Saturday, it's the Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion. And yeah, he will be live this week. And that's from 9 to 11. And then yours truly, Lady D, is from 12 to 4 p.m. This Saturday. So don't miss it. And Sunday, it is all about love, nothing but love, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And Let's Gripe is on Wednesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. with Tonya, McKenna, and Marcus. You don't want to miss that duo right there as well. Hot topics, all right here on the Powerhouse Radio. Olivia says, good night. Looking forward to next week, Lady D, and all good night. Blessings to you once again, and thanks for calling in. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share, so when we do come on, you will be notified. Hit that notification button and share this platform with all your friends and family.
Yes.
Share with all of your friends and your families and co-workers and so on, and let them know that we are on and we're talking hot topics. And for a change, make sure that when you're going to these polling stations and voting, that keep in your mind that you're also voting for a change. And remember, it's Reasoning Thursdays, where we agree to disagree. Leaving out on Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, saying that we are Love you all. Love you all. A time good night.
Love you.
When we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
Good night, Donna.
There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are a part of God's great big family. And the truth, you know, love is all we need. Beyond the world, beyond the children, beyond the books will make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.